Waiting. I don't need to make people start before it's time. Oh dear. Hi, good evening. I'm going to call this last meeting of 2025 to order, December 3rd. And we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Fantastic, thank you. Brendan, could you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Beeman,
Present.
Commissioner Hodge.
Here.
Commissioner Labar.
Here.
Commissioner Light,
Present.
Commissioner Machewski, Commissioner Robbie, Commissioner Sanders,
Present.
Commissioner Scott,
Here.
Commissioner Somerville.
Here.
Okay, we're all here. At this time in the evening, we'll have public participation. If you would like to make a comment at this point, you will come up to the podium up here. There, if you say your name and the city or township with which you're from, and you'll have 3 minutes. A series of lights will let you know. Green is go, yellow is wrapping up, and red is that you're done. I will stop you when the lights turn red as an attempt to try to be fair to everybody. And with that, welcome to the Board of Commissioners. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Arthur Thomas. I work for the Washtenaw County Sheriff's Office. I appreciate this opportunity to address each and every one of y'all. I've learned a real strong lesson. Never write in anger, never speak in anger. Because when you do that, the things that you say you can't take back. Not necessarily that you would want to take them back, but you would want to phrase them a lot different and not make personal attacks on a business decision. And for that reason, I wanted to be the first to speak tonight, because those who were attacked by name, by me, I want to sincerely apologize to you. However, I am a strong advocate against locking people in a cell. For obvious reasons, I've had it done to me. I've suffered through it. Another reason is that when you start talking about locking innocent people, people that have not been found guilty by anybody, people that have not had a day in front of a judge or a jury to determine their guilt or innocence. They're innocent people. You don't lock people that's convicted of a crime in a cell with a lifer and somebody that's in there for petty larceny. Because when you lock these people in these cells like that and not allow them to come out to have recreation, to not allow them to go to school, to not allow them to attend programs that a judge might have ordered, to not be a part of the narcotics program that might be treating them, a GED program that they might be trying to complete just because you want to save a few dollars. Now, here's the thing. I have witnessed people being mistreated in Department of Corrections to the point of being locked down, and it caused mental health breakdowns. It causes them to not only jump on their cellmate, but I've seen them take the anger out on the prison guard that locked them in, because they didn't know that the prison was on lockdown, the entire prison. They only know that they're locked in, and it's because of this one officer that's standing here refusing to let me get my legal work done, refusing to let me take a shower, refusing to let me go to school. So that animosity and anger is built up at that one particular guard because the control center didn't announce a complete entire facility lockdown. So when that door opened, they came out and jumped on him. And another thing, because my time is running out, lawsuits. If you lock the wrong person up and punish them while they're being held without being charged with anything or being found guilty, when they get out and they go down to one of these lawyers, I've seen it done. They've sued for millions of dollars for mistreatment while they were being held in a jail. And
That's
they
your-
won.
that's
So
your
you're
time.
thinking about $8 million, $10 million lawsuits on each individual.
Thank you.
And that's
Thank
my time.
Thank you.
Once again, I apologize for being rude to the people that I wrote about.
Thank you.
And I stand strong with my faith.
Carol Westfall from Freedom Township. I spoke with your group June 4th at that meeting, and my concern then was that we didn't have any Southwestern Washtenaw County representation on the Materials Management Planning Committee, the MMPC. But tonight I'm back with a different concern, and that is whether the MMPC's written plan that's going to come before you for a vote will include a Freedom Township site exemption from methane-producing biodigesters. And you're probably going to hear a lot of things in the next few months about why we do not need an exemption, like we can't give special treatment to one township over another. The biodigester technology isn't mature enough, so it probably won't get recommended. And maybe Washtenaw County can manage its waste in ways that won't require a biodigester. So some of that might be true, but for Freedom Township, the facts speak otherwise. We have so many pipelines, a gas plant, fuel storage tanks, gravel mines, PCB, contaminated soil, high radon content, hazardous materials, and risks of incendiary accidents. And they're all right in the area of our greatest concentration of citizens, our residents, as well as the wetlands and the lake that drains right into Mill Creek and the Huron River watershed. And at the same time, no dedicated police force, fire department, hazmat capability, or roads to handle increased truck traffic. So how can it possibly be fair to burden us with another risk? I'm not aware of another township in the county with more hazardous risks than we have that's already shouldering disproportionate burdens like we are. So what I ask of you tonight, please represent our concerns to the MMPC. Don't wait for a final document to come before you, because I think that's going to be too late for us. My understanding is the way Michigan's MMP law works is once the plan is approved, local zoning gets suspended. No written site exemption in the plan will mean no protection from future methane-producing biodigesters in Freedom Township. I ask you to intercede for us, to stay close to the MMP process, interject yourselves to assure Freedom Township's unique risks are fully represented, and a site exemption is written into that plan. I feel that you have an opportunity to put some much needed protections for Freedom Township in place through that MMP. More than ever, we need your help, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alex Thomas, Ypsilanti Township. I'm speaking tonight as a Ypsilanti Township and proud of the uniform that I'm in. I'm speaking as a Ypsilanti Township resident because in that experience, I was subjected to the harms of law enforcement. I was subjected to the harms of living in a systematically unequal system. I was subjected to being a member of a community whose name is just bandied about for political theater. And I couldn't sit by and just stand by and not be involved. So that's how I got involved in the advocacy community, because I didn't see people talking about my community. And it's not just the African-American community. It's talking about the whole eastern part of our county, a white working class population on eastern Michigan Avenue, on Eastern Ecorse Road. There's no political capital in talking about that white working class population. So we don't hear about that. But here, why it was so easy for me to come here tonight and speak is because in this uniform, I'm representing the people that Ypsilanti Township has a contract with. Ypsilanti Township has a African-American population of about 20,000, about the size of the city of Ypsilanti Township. This body has said on repeated occasions that it's concerned with the African-American community. It's concerned with inequalities in criminal justice. It's concerned with the most vulnerable. But then I heard last week the discussion around it. It didn't sound like a serious discussion. It didn't sound like people were really interested in those people that are in our jail. It didn't sound like people were seriously interested in the African-American community. I was outraged. I wanted to leave as sitting as a member of this audience. I know the people here are better than that conversation. I wanted to come out and speak tonight because I wanted to highlight that. I wanted to highlight the people that I work with in this uniform that deserve a better conversation about their work because it's outstanding. I've been a 46-year resident of Washtenaw County, and I was very critical of law enforcement prior to coming, and I stand by everything that I said because it was true and it was from a public health standpoint. But when I come in, I learn, and because I have transparency, and I'm underneath a sheriff that believes that the community needs to see everything that's going on, because I can see that and I can proudly work with those people. I see that we have to do better. We can't just, I've been asked about all day, what do you think? What is it? What is it? I don't know, but I know we can do better. And for Commissioner Hodge, it's not a personal attack. You're my commissioner as Ypsilanti Township resident. You know better than this. I've seen many sides. We need to see the better one. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Christine Mikesell, Freedom Township. At the October 1st meeting, I spoke on behalf of 2 community organizations about our townships being under attack by corporations who want to use up our natural resources for projects like a biodigester in Freedom Township to generate massive profits for themselves while making changes to our communities. Given how Michigan law is written, there is little that can be done by local governments or the county to stop these projects in most cases. In most cases, but not all. I also stated we had evaluated numerous provisions in state laws governing the siting of biodigesters in a county's MMP, and that we had assessed the way these legal provisions align with unique conditions in Freedom Township. From these assessments, we determined a viable plan to shackle development of a methane-producing biodigester, which BlackRock has slated for our township. At that same meeting, Commissioner Beeman acknowledged that Freedom Township is not the ideal place for a methane biodigester because of the conditions we have. And she said that even though she's aware some in her district may well be supportive of it, she knows protection of the public's health and safety and our environment must have priority over corporate profits. We have been reviewing in detail the path to stop the methane plant with local and county officials, most recently with the Environmental Council and Washtenaws Emergency Management. Our proposal is that circumstances peculiar to Freedom Township support an exemption from siting a biodigester in our township in the county's MMP. And our proposal has been well received. Those are responses we desired, and here's why we're getting them. Our proposal does not rely on the hope of favoritism or special treatment. It rests within the framework of governing law, and it is supported by easily verifiable facts and data. It's the type of evidence meant to prevail in a court of law because it's the standard by which lawyers, like myself, are accustomed to meeting daily. The county is doing all it can to assist townships facing data centers. It's not much because the law has essentially tied your hands, but that's not the case in Freedom Township. We have proposed an appropriate and defensible exemption to protect the environment and residents' health and safety. And we ask you to ensure that the MMPC includes it in the county's plan. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Board. My name is Matthew Crouch. My family and I moved to Freedom Township in 2023. We knew the risks of pipeline, the gas plant, high pressure storage tanks, gravel mines, high radon. I understand that. We moved from Scioto Township, which had high arsenic levels. I was not prepared for unexpected annoyances of, the gravel trains that go up and down the stone chips, slow moving farm equipment. That's always been a thing, but you can't pass. It's a tiny road, along there on Pleasant Lake. To include coming over the hill at 9:30 at night and killing 2 cows and destroying my truck. I wasn't expecting that, but that's life in rural area. In addition to being a resident, I'm a retired veteran. I spent years on deployment, 26 years with the Detroit Fire Department. Currently serve as a fire captain in the fire investigation unit, certified law enforcement, hazmat tech, and paramedic. I've helped evacuate citizens of Southwest Detroit and Melvindale when Marathon Oil had issues back in 2003 during the blackout. They had to, I quote, burp the system, which was a series of explosions, which woke everybody up. It was in the middle of the night. And people were asking, where do we go? Just pushing them down the street. You got to go south. And release of the gas is that. And that was from a company that prides itself on safety and tried and true technology. The Manchester Fire Department has 23 highly trained members, which is the amount we get on just a single family dwelling fire, but we get it in 3 minutes. And we can pump water for days, the ISO class of 2 for Detroit. Manchester's not anywhere close to that. I know the struggle for water shuttle in rural areas. With the hydrogen sulfide and methane, I know that one's left out. These are both flammable gases, and they're heavier than air and, move across the ground, waiting for an ignition point. And I'll move on. As with all risks, it's never if, it's when. Has the township, the county informed their partners, conducted exercises with all members? It sounds like some of it has been. What are the mutual aid? What are the current memorandums of understandings and agreements with other agencies? Preparation for unified command with the DEQ Eagle. What are the costs of deployment of a level 3 incident management team for 7 to 14 days? The infrastructure of the roads, I don't think support that. The groundwater becomes contaminated. Who's picking up the cost for public water to be brought to this rural area? I can't even have a hive of honeybees out there that it's so strict with Freedom Township rules, but the biodigester seems to be getting the green light. Thank you. I hope you can reconsider this with the MMPC.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Laura Sanders, and I am speaking as a Dexter Township resident. I'm also a Dexter Township trustee. I'm here to speak out on behalf of our Sheriff, Alicia Dyer. I appreciate the hard job that the BOC has in approving a budget, and differences about how to allocate funds are always present. But what I experienced yet again the last meeting was more berating and condescending of our new progressive sheriff by commissioners, and it left me feeling sickened, and it also rattles every feminist bone in my body, as I said before. This is the second time I've talked about this, although I do have deep appreciation for all of you, and I don't want to, I want you to know that. Sheriff Dyer is the first sheriff we have ever had in Washtenaw County that is truly prioritizing the mental health and well-being of all of our community members, from people who are in the jail to immigrant families who are being attacked by federal law enforcement, to the deputies and the staff on the front lines of the sheriff's office, to you and your constituents who want to feel safe. We elected her because she has a more holistic vision than her predecessors, and therefore her priorities within her programs will be different and different costs will be associated with them. We elected her and we want you to support her. For example, doing away with lockdowns. As a trauma therapist for 37 years, and I teach trauma-informed therapy at U of M, School of Social Work, for 29 years, I understand that isolation is one of the 7 coercive methods of control used by humans to subjugate other humans. And it's a factor in causing PTSD, from micro traumas of child abuse and domestic violence to the macro traumas of enslavement, colonization, internment, and much policing, including current immigration enforcement. We know that many people in the jail struggle with trauma histories, and the use of isolation is a trigger, worsening their mental health, which not only affects them, but all of us when they are returned to the community, diminished mentally, emotionally, and physically. Sheriff Dyer, with her broader understanding, is trauma-informed. She knows this and is working to make our community safer. This is why we elected her. I ask that you stop using Facebook to demean her, that you stop talking down to her like she's a child in meetings, that you support her vision by
Thank you, that's
funding as
time.
much of her plans as possible, and that you show deep respect for her as a young female progressive sheriff.
Thank
who
you,
was
that's time.
elected by a hopeful community. We elected her and we want you to support her.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much for listening.
Hello, my name is Brenda Anderson, and I've been a resident of Washtenaw County since I moved here in 1976 to go to school, and I'm currently a resident of Scioto Township, and I'm a member of Ann Arbor Indivisible. I came here today to support not cooperating with the demands of ICE for the county ID files. People worked in good faith to create a needed ID system, and people gave their personal information in good faith to get the IDs. It would be shameful to betray their trust by releasing their information to ICE when we know they will abuse it. ICE and their administrators have shown callous disregard for the due process rights of immigrants and citizens. They conceal their own identities as they misuse whatever information they can obtain and trample on the rights of others through home invasion, property damage, and violent assault. They've ignored court orders and constitutional guarantees. They aren't looking to arrest criminals as they say they are. They are the criminals. I understand that a law firm has been hired to evaluate options and that there is concern about potential loss of federal funds to the county. I can only point out that we have seen in other venues and other parts of the country that giving into these bullies never satisfies their demands. They will always ask for more unless they are resisted. As inconvenient as it may sometimes seem, not cooperating with them, resisting them, is the only real option. Citizens like me will stand with you if you do the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Beth Kennedy. I have lived in Ann Arbor for 25 years. I'm also with Ann Arbor Indivisible. I started coming here for games when I was a young child, and I came back as a grad student and I never left. I'm very proud of my city. I'm proud of my county. all of the people that work here that have supported the city and the county, I am proud of also. I am happy with law enforcement, the sheriff, the police have supported the community. In the past, I have volunteered, I have taught here, a diverse community in a diverse school. I have a diverse family. I have never asked a student if they were unhoused, if they were legal, if they were illegal, if someone was in jail. We have taught them the same. I've done a lot of volunteer work. The sheriffs, I've worked with them, and they are working very hard with the sheriff to have a friendly relationship with the community. What we're dealing with now with the commission is the ID. I know you guys are stuck in a tough place right now. First, you were forced to give up to ICE your employee information, and now you have the community ID, which they're demanding. And I know you're holding strong, and I appreciate you for that. And I want you to know we support you on that fully. I know you're really being pressured on that. I know you're seeking legal counsel on that. Just remember, this is a vulnerable community. If you give in to ICE on this, they will take it even further. They're not going to use it for good purposes. I went to the recent community panel where they talked about how ICE is impacting the community. And thank you for being there, Commissioner. I appreciate your service for that. I learned a lot about that. As ICE continues to push for this, I hope that you will hold strong and not give in. We will support you if you will support us. This community, vulnerable as they are, they live here, they worship here, their children go to school here, they have businesses, they vote for you, they spend their money here. They deserve to be protected by you and feel safe. They are afraid to go to work. They are afraid to take their children to school. Please hold strong on this. It's incredibly important not to protect us, but to protect everyone in this community. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Emmy Destel. I live in Ypsilanti. I want to start my public comment off by saying that I'm really shocked and appalled by the behavior of Commissioners Hodge and Commissioner Scott towards Sheriff Alicia Dyer. I've never seen such unprofessional behavior from locally elected officials towards another locally elected officials on social media and in this very room. It's discouraging to see such childish behavior from elected officials. At the last meeting, several on the board made horrific and troubling statements advocating for lockdowns to be used as a cost-saving measure. The sheriff refused to listen and called it out, and now you are retaliating against her. It's shameful. And while the resolution that was added to this meeting's agenda at the last hour is a statement, it's more lies. The previous admin had all kinds of serious issues, and while the sheriff is working to fix things, some of you have repeatedly attacked her, and it's clear that this is both personal and political. In these unprecedented times, we need more unity and collaboration, but what we've seen from several on the board is pettiness and childishness, and attempts to overreach your authority in an attempt to micromanage the sheriff. It's disgraceful and frankly disrespectful to every voter to continuously treat the duly elected sheriff in such a manner. Thank you to Commissioner Robbie for standing strong as the only one with the courage to call this out. I hope other commissioners put whatever their personal feelings are aside and call this inappropriate resolution out as well. I am tired of the blatant lies coming from many commissioners, and I'm glad that the sheriff is standing strong. The people of this county deserve your honesty, and I wish each and every one of you would stop this nonsense and be honest. Some of you have lied and misconstrued information and have had a personal vendetta against the sheriff, and that's just unprofessional and unwarranted. This county deserves better, so do better.
Tad Weiser, Ypsilanti Township. Just wanted to step back a moment and just realize that the tensions that have happened this year between the sheriff's office and this board and individuals has been heartbreaking, and particularly at a time that we need to somehow figure out how we come together as a county and deal with what is just beginning to be devastating impacts on big chunks of the community, rural areas particularly, and the eastern part of the county where I live. The one thing I'd say is that it's not both on budget issues and on human resources issues that have been particularly hot lately. I'm not aware of any efforts that have to reach out and can take advantage of this community, the number of practitioners in this community who know about mediation and restorative practices, and or others who have a different relationship with the sheriff to help to create a mediation kind of an atmosphere instead of immediately going to the strongest reaction possible. I'm looking forward to having that opportunity for a little bit of air to happen and to go forward with a sense of actually coming together and being ready for the onslaughts that all of us in this county are going to be having while we do the regular day-to-day business. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jeremy Haley, Ypsi Township. I just like to share what I'm thankful for. I've been thankful since November 15th, 2001. I was involved in a motor vehicle accident where my neck was broken on the C6, mass facet fracture, where only a couple millimeters was holding the bone on. Otherwise, I'd be a quadriplegic. And I'm thankful for that every day that it did not break, so. And another question I have, that I have a friend whose daughter just got out of the women's prison there. How does a woman become an addict on meth in prison? I was told from her mother that there's a massive drug issue in that prison. All right, and there's mold, but there are other things in that prison, and there's a lot of drugs. And my question is, how does a woman become a meth addict and get treated for it in the prison, June, and now released without any kind of help, pretty much, from the prison or the system at all? So it's really sad, really. And my other thing is, I don't know if you know, my last name is Haley. I've said it a few times. And I don't know if you've been around the county a little bit. You've probably seen Haley Heating, Cooling, Haley Mechanical Trucks. That was my eldest brother's company. Was past tense, is meaning he just recently sold it to a corporation. And the thing is, I know this around the country, not just here. Corporations are buying these small companies up, standardizing them, setting a set price for all of them, so no matter who you call in an area, it's one price. I have questions with my brother, I'll ask him privately, but when somebody weighs a big check with you, a lot of zeros behind it, what do you do, right? And there's a reason why I bring this up. There's a group is equities and funding equity groups and private corporations that do this. There's a group out there, out west, called Champions Group that buys all the HVAC companies. And they get people to buy $15,000, $20,000, $25,000 systems. And they can't pay for them, but they can finance them through the company. And in the contract that they sign, if they can't pay it, they wind up taking the houses. This is how these equity companies make their money. They don't make the money off the product they're selling, they're making it off the product that they're taking from the people. So as you all invest in money, stocks, I give up on all that decades ago. Go with gold, silver, platinum, palladium, and hold it in the hard stocks, you'll be a lot better off. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. Oh, excuse me. My name is Leslie McGraw, and I am a resident of Washtenaw County, and my family has lived in this area since 1942 officially. Our family was displaced out of Brownsville, Tennessee after my great-granduncle was lynched for helping people vote. And he was actually kidnapped and led into a mob by the county sheriff. So I have always just been curious about, I know what type of power that a sheriff can wield. We saw it during the storms in Georgia where county sheriffs were deciding not to evacuate their county jails because they just didn't have to. So and I bring that up because there's a lot about narrative, a lot of talking, more talk happens outside of this room than inside. And so there's a lot of talk about people who follow Alicia Dyer or whatever are these kind of loyalists and that kind of thing. I want to make it clear that I support the Washtenaw County Sheriff's Office and what Alicia Dyer is attempting to do, as I did the previous sheriff, because I feel like they're going in the right direction. And I don't have any, I'm not part of all the political kind of cliques that happen. I try to focus, the whole idea is no permanent friends, no permanent enemies, only permanent issues, right? And because I'm not only affected by what happens at the jail, I'm affecting what happens at the prison directly. I am just as impacted. I'm affected by the housing situation. I got families living on top of family. We talk about undocumented immigrants. Child, let me tell you about the Black community. We got undocumented right here that just can't afford to live nowhere else. So I understand that they all work together, but there are certain things that just, I'm in three major moms groups, because I have to have a moms group for the little one. I have to have a moms group for my adult son that's in MDOC, and I have to have one where, all the other diverse moms are in. And one thing that came up recently that really stuck with me is that the worst thing is not to be unloved. It's to be optional. And I've seen it time and time again where the pendulum swings as to who is optional in this county. Sometimes the optional are Black folks, sometimes they're brown folks, sometimes they're Native Americans that want to save their land, sometimes it's people in the jail, sometimes it's the food insecure. So I feel like our kind of shared vision is so that we're not leaving people out, but in the way of like putting vulnerable populations against each other, and the people who represent those vulnerable populations kind of in these cliques, then it is watering down the movement that we could. I think Washtenaw County has the opportunity to do what other counties cannot do.
I hate
We
to
are-
interrupt you, but that's time.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I wanted you to keep going, but I'm trying to be fair to everybody. So
I'm a
that's fine.
PK, so I'm
Thank you.
sorry.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Bob King, Ann Arbor. I know a lot of you was here at the last meeting, and I'm going to make a very similar point. I know the good angels and most of you. I've worked with a lot of you. I've seen you do a lot of good work, and I'm really concerned and upset about the divisions that I see in Washtenaw County now. And I believe that the residents of Washtenaw County do not want to see the kind of dysfunction that we're feeling and seeing at this present time. I talked to Ian Robinson, who wanted to be here tonight. Unfortunately, he's got a bad cold or flu, so he wasn't able to be. And on behalf of Ian and myself, I've been involved in a lot of disputes. I've been involved in a lot of divisions between people. And if you can get people to sit down, listen to both sides honestly, you can find a resolution. And as Tad said earlier, I believe that what we need to do in Washtenaw County, we're a great Democratic county. I hate the characterization of Democrats as being people who get in circular firing squads. And I feel that's kind of the path we're on right now in Washtenaw County. And I want to help prevent that and stop that. I'm not blaming anybody. I'm not making any allegations tonight because I specifically want you to know that Ian and I both are willing to sit down with you individually, hear your side of it. Obviously, I've heard the sheriff's side of it. I want to hear both sides, and I want to figure out a way, because I know the goodness in the people in this room to bring everybody together. So that's Ian's offer and my offer. He obviously authorized me to say that tonight. We're here and want to help bring this county together. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. I'm Ginger Chase. I live in Scioto Township. Jason Majewski is my commissioner. I want to thank you for keeping an open mind, remaining curious. Thank you, Commissioner Robbie, for keeping real, keeping present, keeping honest. The last meeting I observed was really disturbing in terms of how people talked to Sheriff Dyer. I've never seen commissioners scold a professional that way in public. I can't imagine working for an organization where people talk to her so condescendingly. I just can't imagine. And this idea that she's creating a toxic workplace is crazy to me, when it's very clear every time I've come to Board of Commissioners meetings that I witness toxic behavior, pounding gavels really hard, talking badly to people in the community. I'm really sad because we have an opportunity. We have somebody who wants to do things differently. We have somebody who really cares about the community. And I haven't heard praise for all the work that she's done to turn around a sheriff's department that left with issues. She's hired new people so she doesn't have to rely on overtime. I haven't heard praise for this. She cut the budget 2% as requested. I don't hear praise for this. So I feel like there's a lot of politicking going on where it's not about what she's doing. That's pretty normal. Her budget seemed pretty straightforward to me, but it's about spinning the story in a way that suits people because you didn't like her. And that's really appalling as somebody who really wants to see positive change in this county. You have an opportunity to actually make change. And so many of you talk about your progressive values. Talk about, wanting to do right by the community. And you're not. You're not. You have an opportunity, and I don't know why you're wasting it. I don't know why you're wasting it with politics. You're smart people. I know you're smart people. And I just don't understand why that tearing somebody down is more important than using this opportunity with somebody who's transparent, who cares about changing the culture in the sheriff's department to reduce harm in the rest of the community. It's not an either or, it's not a zero sum. It's an opportunity to make real changes that benefit all people in the community and especially the most vulnerable. And some of you claim to care about the most vulnerable. Thank you.
Anyone else in the room for public comment? Okay, Ashley, anybody online for public comment?
Yes, Chair. First, we have Trisha Duckworth.
Great. Welcome, Trisha.
Good evening, Commissioners. I come to you saddened today. I've been watching these meetings online. I've been seeing every time the sheriff come into these meetings, she just berated, talked to with utter disrespect from a few of you, not all. And I brought students into our last meeting because we wanted our students to just learn about civic engagement and to engage with the civic process. And it was just embarrassing to see just the berating and the type of things that were going on in that meeting. And not just in that meeting, like I said, it just continues to happen. And I see the faces now. And oh my goodness, but everybody knows. Everybody's watching you guys. And it's inappropriate. It's time for us to come together. I, just like others have mentioned on tonight, have been thinking about it. Man, you guys are all so supportive of the Dispute Resolution Center. Maybe we should bring the Dispute Resolution Center in so that you all can sit down and we can get over whatever this is. It does not serve this county well at all. It is not needed. Right now, we are facing some very hard times, and whatever we do, we have to do it together. The voters of Washtenaw County, the same ones that voted for you all, they voted for Alicia Dyer. Derek has a great job right now. I don't know I don't know what this confusion is. This sheriff has been here less than a year. I watched you all with the prior sheriff. You never said anything about what he did. Like it would be a how dare you to speak on things that the sheriff did. You haven't even given her a chance at all. This is her first year. We got to do better. If you have real complaints, okay, fine. But the berating and just the way that you come across to the public, and this is not just me, I have had so many people call me, my students witnessed it. So many people are witnessing it. We can do better than this. Please sit down with Dispute Resolution Center. Come together and figure out how we move forward as a county. Because what we're doing right now is not going to serve us. Thank you.
Thank you. Ashley, anyone else online?
Yes, Chair. Next, we have Loki.
Hi, my name's Floki Ivy. I live in the city of Ypsilanti. I'm here to speak not because I'm necessarily in support of policing and policing in general, but because I'm in support of democracy and who the people of Ypsilanti voted for. The people of Ypsilanti voted for Alicia Dyer. Alicia Dyer is our sheriff. And I think that the way that we are treating our sheriff should reflect the values that we hold as an Ypsilanti public. And I just don't feel that that's what happened here. It's never been the way that we've treated people before. And it's giving sexism. I'd also like to say that taking the HR out of her hands and putting it in the hands of another institution, I just question its legality and wonder if it is something that we should question, if you should question as a board, and if that's going to cause more problems for us as a community and just end up costing us more money, and if this is the best use of our time. I would encourage you as a board to really use your time wisely and encourage our sheriff to invest her time in changing the things that are really going to perceptibly change the lives of people in our community and make things better. So please engage in the restorative process. I know a lot of you just were part of the Restorative Justice Summit. Please be part of the restorative justice process and speak with the sheriff's department. That's all I have to say.
Go ahead, Ashley.
Next, we have Desiree Simmons.
Thank you.
Hello, good evening. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Great, thank you. My name is Desiree Simmons, and I work with the Interfaith Council for Peace and Justice. Part of our work within that role is focus on accountability and transparency work, focus on the sheriff's office, but also really looking at all of our elected officials. With that role, we are really focused on what the community wants to see and has demanded really to come out of that office. And one of the things that I'm kind of feeling is at odds right now is that we're not all on the same page. The community that elected all of you, the community that elected Alicia Dyer, the community that I work with every day. We need to understand both who the most vulnerable are in our community and where they stay, how how long people are in jail before they return back into the community. And it's a very short amount of time, maybe 2 weeks, before they're back in our community. We have to think about poor conditions in the jail. It is not abolitionist to take money from a space to create poor conditions. I know folks have reported to me over the years about the poor food that they were being fed in the jails, sometimes with things like maggots in them. And so when we talk about cost savings, I think it's important to understand whose backs those cost savings came on. Enough people talked about maggots. We talked about, there's the thing about lockdowns. We have to also think about the millage monies that have been used to backfill the budget when it has been inadequately funded by the commission. And that those millage monies being used in that way means that they're not able to be used for programs that the community actually wants, like alternative non-police response, which the sheriff has said that she is interested in working with the community on and trying to support those kinds of programs. But we will never get that if there's not adequate funding so that those millage monies can be used in those ways. We have to come together. We have to. There is too much to do and too little time as we're talking about the other needs that we've talked about housing. We need an emergency shelter here in Ypsilanti. I know this has come forward before, but as we talk about where the money is going, where it is, these are the things that we really want to come together and see work happening, and without the distractions that are before us. I feel like this whole past couple of weeks has been a community distraction. So much time is being spent trying to point fingers when really I think that we need to come to more understanding, because I know you all care for the community as I do, and we just need to see it in the doing, not in the pointing fingers.
Desiree, that's time.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. Ashley, anyone else online for us?
There's no one else online, Chair.
Okay. Commissioner, follow-up to public participation? Commissioner Beaman?
Thank you, Chair. I want to thank my residents that came out from Freedom Township to speak about the biodigester. We have a very unique ecosystem out in rural Washtenaw County with cows and tractors. But there are areas that we do need to preserve and protect. And as I am all too familiar with, there is a general war being waged on rural America and rural farm land usage, turning it industrial, looking at things like data centers, battery storage, biodigesters, all of these different items. And so just want to thank you for having the courage to come forward and speak to protecting the land and the water and the quality of life that people come to expect living in a more rural community. So thank you so much, and I take all of your words to heart.
Thank you. Any other commissioner follow-up? Commissioner Labar?
Thanks, Chair. I think we'll have some of the substantive discussion later on, but I just wanted to thank folks for the comments tonight, the thoughtfulness and the tone and the appeal to our better angels. I appreciate it. And also want to thank the folks who spoke about the importance of holding firm on the ICE request. I think it was just a palpably racist statement that the president made yesterday in his cabinet meeting as it related to members of the Somali American community. And I think it's important we not just stand strong on the ICE issue, but call out that sort of rhetoric as racism, just full stop, and sort of antithesis of what we value here in Washtenaw County. So thank you for bringing that up tonight. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other commissioner follow-up? Okay, I just want to thank everybody for coming and making comments at our meeting this evening. You can see the wide range of things that we talk about here at the county, from ICE to biodigesters and waste management plans to budget issues across the board. And I just appreciate everybody coming out and being involved. With that, we'll move on to liaison reports. Do I have any liaison reports this evening? Okay, I don't see any. Report from the county administrator.
No report.
Okay. No report from the county administrator, no report from the chair of the board, no special order of business. We'll move on to appointments. Would somebody like to move the appointments?
So moved.
Support.
Great. Any discussion on the appointments? Hey, fantastic. That's a roll call. Brendan?
Commissioner Beaman,
Yes.
Commissioner Hodge.
Yes.
Commissioner Labar,
Yes.
Yes.
Commissioner Machieski,
Yes.
Commissioner Robbie, Commissioner Sanders,
Yes.
Commissioner Scott,
Yes.
Commissioner Somerville.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much, Brendan. The consent agenda, would somebody like to move the consent agenda?
So moved.
Any discussion? Okay, we'll do a voice vote. I don't know why I always forget that. We'll do a voice vote for the consent agenda. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great, fantastic. We're moving right along. We're on to the resolutions. No first readings. Would somebody like to read the final reading and single reading resolutions? Commissioner Labar?
Sure, Chair. Under final reading, resolution to adopt the brownfield plan at 716 Sanborn Road. Under single reading, we have a resolution to allocate $155,000 of board commissioner priority funds to barrier busters. A resolution authorizing acceptance of the Ann Arbor Area Community Foundation grant, and the supplemental resolution transferring HR from sheriff to HR department.
Support. Oh, claims.
Oh, forgive me, and claims.
Claims.
Support.
Thank you. Would anybody like to pull anything for separate consideration? Commissioner Robbie? 3C? Any other resolutions pulled for separate consideration? Okay, any comments, questions, or concerns on items other than 3C? I see none. Will wait. Yes, I see Commissioner Beaman. I don't see none. I see Beaman.
Thank you. I just wanted to thank the board for their consideration of the brownfield plan for the city of Manchester. This is a very exciting project for my community, and just thank your consideration.
Thank you. Okay, we'll do a roll call vote, please. Thank you.
Commissioner Hodge.
Yes.
Commissioner Labar,
Yes.
Commissioner Light,
Yes.
Commissioner Machieski,
Yes.
Commissioner Robbie.
I'll be voting no on item 2A, the final reading, and yes on item 3A and 3B.
Commissioner Sanders,
Yes.
Commissioner Scott,
Yes.
Commissioner Somerville.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Great. We have item C pulled for separate consideration. Any comments, questions, or concerns on item C? Commissioner Hodge?
Thank you, Chair. I know a lot of effort by staff went into getting item C prepared for our consideration. I want to thank the team in HR and Corporation Counsel and everyone else in administration and the administrator and everyone else involved to make that happen. Not an easy topic for any of us to discuss, certainly not something that anybody desires to have to discuss. But for the safety and well-being of our employees, I'm glad that we were able to make that step. And to the employees that have experienced harm, I'm sorry that we were not able to act fast enough to prevent that harm. And I'm hopeful that taking this step prevents any further harm to our employees. We have a duty and responsibility to all of the staff in Washtenaw County, and that's why we're taking the step as quickly as we possibly can when we became aware of the significant issues. So that's what I got. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Hodge. Any other questions, comments, or concerns? Commissioner Sanders?
I just want to add that I think I've been clear and consistent since first day at the table, that employees should not be faced with having to come into a hostile work environment. And that it is our responsibility to make sure that every employee has a level playing field. And so I am happy that we are making this resolution. The level of liability that the county would face if we were to ignore those concerns is probably a dollar amount that we couldn't wrap our arms around. But at the end of the day, people should be able to come in and do their job, receive the direction that they need, the support that they need, and sometimes the discipline without being afraid. And so this is something that I've been marching down the road sometimes by myself on. I'm happy that the majority of the commissioners are supporting this initiative to show support for our staff. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other comments, questions, or concerns? Commissioner LeBar?
Thanks, Chair. I do want to speak to the importance in terms of process and what the relatively small amounts of things that we can control outcomes at this table, and the importance of process. This HR decision and centralizing it back in administration should have happened in the past. And I want to own more of that responsibility than anybody else at this board, given my tenure. I think we're doing the right thing. I think we are in a constrained period of communication, and I think we are trying our best to communicate as much as we can, as quickly as we can, in as accessible a way as we can, while valuing above all safety, privacy, and legal considerations. And I understand that is not, let me say, that is a situation that can lead to frustration, and I hear that in the voices tonight. I think this is the right thing to do, and I think also the 9 of us want to have a productive relationship with all of our elected officials. I think that can be achieved. I think we can take active steps to do that. And I think part of that was achieved in terms of the substance of discussion last time. You know, I'm better able to contextualize the sheriff's budget in our overall budget because we had that dialogue. If the tone and tenor of that changes for the better, great. Let's work towards that in the future. I appreciate the staff putting this together. I appreciate the speed at which we're moving. And I appreciate that we are not able to share as much as we wish we could at this time, and that we will when we can. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you very much. Any other questions, comments, or concerns? Commissioner Somerville?
Thanks. Thanks for the background, Commissioner LeBar. That's helpful information. So I will say that I had expressed some concern about moving as quickly just because I still have unanswered questions, but I'm still going to vote in favor of this because of the information that we were made aware of at our last board meeting, closed session. And I would love that, you know, it would have been better if we could keep the 2 issues separate. Some of the feedback that we've gotten from the last meeting and this issue concerning human resources. Unfortunately, we cannot. And but I did take notes from public comment, and I've had some conversations with constituents of mine who have called me since the last board meeting. I think that having public conversations about the budget can get tense, and it is a very tense time with unanswered questions that at least I have related to like why the overtime costs have jumped up, but that is for me separate from an issue that we're facing right now with human resources and the county's liability. And so just wanted to make it clear that despite the tensity around the conversation with the overtime increase and the sheriff's budget, I'm still open and willing to learn more about what's actually causing that overtime, like outside of just the conversation around locking down inmates. I understand that there's lots of aspects to the corrections budget that I could better understand because I'm not the one running that part of the county, and there's always room for growth and understanding. And so I'm committed to doing that. But again, knowing what I know and about issues that have been brought to our attention, I can't not support making this change. I do think it's helpful to have the background that Commissioner Labar has given us. And just to say that our other countywide electeds, all of the HR is centralized. So this is in line with that. So those are my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other comments, questions, or concerns? I don't see any. I'll just note that I also appreciate the public comment that we had here this evening. And like Commissioner Somerville, it is an unfortunate conflation that the budget issue came on at the same time of hearing about some of these concerns. Despite what anybody might believe, they really are not connected. They just happen to be conflated at the same time. In terms of just to go back to the budget conversation last week, I think that I want to be absolutely clear that I do not support increased lockdowns as a method for balancing the budget. I was very clear about that in the meeting. In fact, if at that meeting, the sheriff had said the only way for her to stay within budget was to increase lockdowns, I probably would have pushed back on that and said, can we come up with some alternative solutions, or what can you do to not do that? I was very clear about saying I didn't want to ideate for her. But I do think that with a budget as large as the sheriff's office, there's certainly ways to find savings that don't involve locking people down. What I'm focused on here at the board table is what this board should be focused on, the real issues in front of us: budgets, staffing, employee safety, service delivery, everyday needs of our residents. And I think that throwing around words like lockdown is a distraction. That was not what was in our prepared materials for the Q3 budget adjustment. That word lockdown or discussing lockdowns was no place in the material we had prepared for us talking about what was happening with the Q3 budget adjustment. And I think that issue became sort of blown out of proportion in the sense that that's what we were talking about when we were talking about Q3 budget adjustment. And that is what it is. It happened. I have sent numerous memos requesting clarification and answers to budget question. A lot of those questions are unanswered for me. Many meeting requests have been ignored or canceled. The latest one was today at 11:30. Still trying to have an open conversation and trying to figure out questions and answers. That being said, this is not about that, but it was a chance to just sort of clear some of that now. At this point, I think moving the HR to the central county HR with people who have HR background and doing that, I think is a really effective way for us to move forward as a county. And I really feel strongly about, after what we had heard about protecting our employees and making sure everybody comes to work and is able to have a voice at work and feels free to speak up about concerns. And that's all I'll say. At this point, we'll do a roll call vote. Thanks, Brendan.
Commissioner Labar,
Yes.
Commissioner Light,
Yes.
Commissioner Machieski,
Yes.
Commissioner Robbie, Commissioner Sanders,
Yes.
Commissioner Scott,
Yes.
Commissioner Somerville,
Yes.
Commissioner Beaman,
Yes.
Commissioner Hodge.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much. Items for current and future discussion. Commissioner Hodge?
Thank you, Chair. I move that we go into closed session to discuss negotiation strategy for collective bargaining ship and pending litigation, Wasim versus Washtenaw County et al.
Do I have Fantastic. We will roll call to go into closed session.
Commissioner Light,
Sure.
Commissioner Machewski,
Yes.
Commissioner Robbie, Commissioner Sanders,
If we must.
Commissioner Scott,
Ho, ho, ho.
Commissioner Somerville,
Yes.
Commissioner Beaman,
Yes.
Commissioner Hodge.
Yes.
Commissioner Labar. Motion carries.
Great. We'll be in closed session. Thank you. I know. Hello, we are back to the full meeting. Before we move on with any more items for current and future discussion, I'm going to go back to our lovely clerk, Brendan, and I think you have something we need to do.
So we're gonna have Commissioner Beaman vote on items 2A to 3B and claims. Commissioner Beaman,
Yes.
thank you.
Great, thank you. Okay, we took care of that piece of business. Any other items for current and future discussion? I just want to tell you all how much I have enjoyed working with you all this past year. We have had a lot of unprecedented, difficult things happen to us, starting with ICE showing up at the county and working with a group of people. The people came to us tonight to talk about holding strong on that county ID program. I didn't even have to sit and wonder why we were sitting here if anybody was vacillating. I know where you all stand on that. I know where you all stand to protect our community. That was how the year started and it's just kept on going. But I feel like we have really coalesced well as a board together. And I just want to let you know how much I have enjoyed working with you and how much I'm looking forward to next year. Thanks, everyone. With that, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Great. Happy New Year.